I've always been drawn to the unknown. Growing up, I spent countless hours exploring the internet, diving into obscure forums, unearthing hidden websites, and chasing information most people didn't even know existed. But there was a line I never crossed, until I heard about the dark web. It started with a late-night conversation with a friend who dabbled in hacking. "The dark web has everything," he said, his voice low, almost conspiratorial. "But it's not a place for the curious. It's dangerous." His warning only fueled my curiosity. What could be so dangerous about a part of the internet? I had to find out. One sleepless night, I downloaded Tor, the browser that grants access to the dark web, and began my descent. At first, it felt like stumbling into a forgotten corner of the internet. Clunky interfaces, outdated designs, and an eerie silence that made every click feel heavier than it should. I browsed forums discussing conspiracy theories, marketplaces selling drugs and stolen data, and sites offering hacking services. It was thrilling, like exploring a forbidden city. But the deeper I went, the darker it got. I found sites that made my stomach churn. Images and videos of violence, torture, and things I can't bring myself to describe. I knew I should stop, but a morbid curiosity kept pulling me back, like a moth to a flame. One night, I stumbled across a forum post titled "The Marketplace of Whispers." It described a site where people traded not just illegal goods, but secrets. Dark, dangerous secrets that could change your life forever. Intrigued, I followed the link to the Marketplace of Whispers. The site looked like an old auction house, with listings for bizarre items, a lock of hair from a hanged man, a mirror that shows your death, a box that contains a demon. I laughed it off, thinking it was just elaborate creepypasta nonsense. Then I saw a listing that stopped me cold. For sale, a laptop connected to the deep web. The description claimed it belonged to a hacker who had accessed restricted areas of the deep web, places so hidden even most dark web users didn't know they existed. The hacker, it said, had encountered something that drove him insane. The laptop still had access to those areas, and whoever bought it would inherit whatever was haunting it. I should have closed the browser. Instead, I messaged the seller. They responded quickly, warning that the laptop was dangerous but offering it for a price. They wanted to get rid of it, they said, because they couldn't handle what came with it. Against my better judgment, I agreed to buy it. We met in a crowded cafe, where a man in a hoodie handed me the laptop, wrapped in a black cloth. The moment I touched it, a chill ran through me, like I'd grabbed something alive and malevolent. Back home, I set it up. It was an old model, but it worked. The browser was already set to Tor, with bookmarks for sites like the Slaughterhouse, the Torture Chamber, and the Abyss. My heart raced as I clicked on the Abyss. The page loaded slowly, revealing a single image, a room with a chair in the center, occupied by a shadowy figure with no discernible face. Below it, 3 words: "It sees you." I laughed nervously, assuming it was just a scare tactic, but then the figure seemed to move, slightly, as if breathing. I refreshed the page, but the image stayed the same. My computer was fine, no glitches. Then I heard it, a whisper from my speakers. "You shouldn't have looked." I slammed the laptop shut, my heart pounding. It was probably just a prank, an audio file set to play, but the whisper lingered in my mind, and over the next few days, strange things started happening. Footsteps echoed in my house when I was alone. Shadows flickered in my peripheral vision. I felt watched, always. One night, I woke to a figure at the foot of my bed, tall, with spindly limbs and glowing eyes where a face should have been. I screamed and it vanished, but its image was burned into my mind. I knew then that something had followed me from the dark web. I couldn't live like this. The whispers, the shadows, the constant feeling of being watched. It was driving me insane. I turned back to the dark web, desperate for answers. If this thing came from there, maybe someone there could help me get rid of it. I posted on forums, describing my experience and begging for help. Most users mocked me, calling it a fake story, but one user, Banish, messaged me privately. Banish claimed to be part of a group that dealt with supernatural entities on the dark web. They said they could help, but it would cost me my address so they could perform a ritual in person. I hesitated, but the entity's presence was growing stronger. I gave them my address. 2 days later, Banish arrived. A man in his 40s, dressed in black, carrying a bag of candles, incense, and wooden plaques etched with strange symbols. He listened as I recounted everything, from the laptop to the figure in my room. "You've awakened something that feeds on fear," he said. "The only way to banish it is to face it and show it you're not afraid." He set up a ritual in my living room, arranging candles in a circle and placing the plaques around the room. As he chanted in an unknown language, the air grew cold and the whispers returned, louder and more menacing. "You shouldn't have looked," they hissed. Banish told me to stand in the circle and face whatever appeared. The entity materialized, tall, shadowy, with glowing eyes that pierced through me. "You dare to challenge me," it growled, its voice like grinding metal. I wanted to run, but Banish's words echoed in my mind. I stepped forward, my voice trembling. "I'm not afraid of you." It laughed, a sound that made my skin crawl, and lunged at me. I closed my eyes, bracing for impact, but nothing happened. When I opened them, the entity was gone, and Banish was smiling. "You faced your fear," he said. "It has no power over you now." Relief flooded through me. The whispers stopped, and the oppressive feeling lifted. Banish warned me it might not be over, that entities like this were persistent. I thanked him and promised to contact him if it returned. But as he left, a nagging doubt lingered. Had I really banished it? Weeks passed, and life seemed normal again. I avoided the dark web, even deleted Tor from my computer. But then I received an email from an unknown sender, with no subject line. It read, "It's not over." That night, the whispers returned, faint but unmistakable. "You shouldn't have looked." I contacted Banish again, panic rising. He said he'd feared this might happen. "Some entities require multiple confrontations," he explained. He agreed to return, but warned that this ritual would be riskier. We set it up in my bedroom this time, with more candles and a book of ancient symbols. Banish chanted, and I visualized trapping the entity in a cage. The air grew thick, the whispers deafening. The entity appeared, angrier than before, its form flickering like a broken video feed. It lunged at Banish, who held up a symbol, forcing it back. "Focus," he shouted. I closed my eyes, picturing the cage strengthening. The entity screamed, its form fading until it vanished completely. Banish collapsed, exhausted. "It's gone for good this time," he said. I helped him up, thanking him profusely. He reiterated his warning. "Stay away from the dark web." I swore I would. Years have passed since that night, and the entity hasn't returned. I've moved on, or at least tried to. But the memory of those events is like a scar that never fully heals. Sometimes, late at night, when the house is silent, I think I hear a whisper. you shouldn't have looked. I tell myself it's just my imagination, but the fear lingers. The dark web is a place of horrors most can't imagine. It's where curiosity can lead to terror, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. I learned that the hard way. If you're ever tempted to explore its depths, remember my story. Some doors are better left closed, and some secrets are better left buried. Because once you look, there's no going back.